It's Rog. Premier League season 2023-24 is upon us. Back for its first normal, with crowds, non-COVID, uncluttered, don't drop a World Cup in the middle of its season in what feels like forever. And it has really felt less normal at the same time. But who cares? Our cup of football overfloweth. And this is our big MIB welcome back Premier League season preview. I always say this ritual prayer at this time that the first morning of any Premier League season is among the finest days of the year. Up there in our book with Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day. Squads have been refreshed. New players have arrived. Everyone has a fresh new haircut. The ink on those recently acquired neck tattoos has barely dried. Few occasions in football carry such a sense of true collective anticipation. Oh, and that thing called hope. 380 games lie ahead of us over 282 days each. An unknown voyage of discovery within which everything feels pure and possible. And rationally, look, we know the Premier League's is 7 mini-leagues. 7 teams battling out for top 4. 4 maybe for mid-table obscurity. Bite your arm off for that, and the rest to avoid the moon door of relegation. But on this first day of the season, every single one of us suspends disbelief. We listen to our fast-beating heart, which assures us that our team's newly acquired striker will hit the ground running, score 25 goals. The injury-prone playmaker will have just the season of his life. And the young loanee from Seville, whose name is unpronounceable, will reveal himself, to be made of different gravy. That moment before the referee's whistle blows, it's thick with prayer. A ball hasn't been kicked. Dreams are not yet dashed. Everything is still possible. And I raise my third first Bud Light of the day to collective repression. Football, it's a hell of a drug. I'm so bloody psyched for this season. There's no such thing as free will, as the stoic Roman philosopher Seneca once said, and I believe he was talking about the Premier League as he did so. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. And even though we all know Man City's going to win this thing by double-figure points, Luton and Everton are going to be relegated, and the top 6 going to be the same as last year, apart from Chelsea will be in it. Who cares? But let me start at the beginning. We're a team who over the past 4 years have felt like both the beginning and the end. Manchester City, the dynastic Happy Flowers team. They're going to try and follow up their treble season with a 4-peat, which, even saying that, makes you realise how incredible it is, no matter how you cut it. Pep Guardiola, in his 7th season, on that one-man crusade to both make this a farmers' league and to also make cargo pants with no pockets, apart from funny ones on the side, happen. Stop it with your devious, subversive ways, Pepito. This is a squad in transition. The big moves. Gundogan gone to Barcelona. Mahrez decamped to Saudi Arabia, but they still got Monster Haaland. They still got the master poet, KDB, Pep's son Foden, Gucci bags, Jack Grealish, Barnsley Beckenbauer, John Stones, World Cup winner Julian Alvarez, and babyface slaughterer Cole Palmer. So on and so on and so on, including new signing $100 million Josko Gvardiol, the world's second most expensive centre-back behind, yes, Harry Maguire. Also going to be fascinating to watch Pep remake and sharpen Kovacic, but perhaps the most important newcomer at City is the signing of the season. Yes, they've got Leicester's head groundsman, John Ledwidge, the man responsible for some of the most iconic and hallucinogenically kaleidoscopic pitch designs in recent memory. Can't wait for him to unveil one of his clever, mesmeric pitch designs and then have Pep go and get him measure the grass by the micromillimeter and redo it. I had the pleasure of talking to KDB earlier this week. We'll release the interview on YouTube imminently. It's a lovely conversation. And he told me he doesn't think about things like legacy. He doesn't care whether the 4 wins will make Manchester City the greatest team of all time. But when you look at it, I do believe the only thing that's going to stop City this year will be complacency. To number 2, the Pepsi to City's Cola, Arsenal Football Club, in what will be one of the most compelling storylines to watch. Mikel Arteta's gaggle will attack the summit with their squad revitalised, re-energised at real cost. believing that they can peak, that they can summit first. The new arrivals, they're startling, they're riveting. Arteta's rebuild has hit its peak with the introduction of a pile of cash. Oh, thank you, Stan Kroenke. Exchange for a fascinating blend of youth and experience. Declan Rice for $134 million statement signing. Going to be fascinating to watch him just work on the attacking aspect of his all-round game. Kai Havertz's fresh start too, and the deft passing of versatile Dutch defender Jurrien Timber. Between them, so young, still to hit their peak, but already with the rugged miles of experience, 95 caps between those three. This is a young team built to win now, with the perceived liabilities of Granit Xhaka exercised and Thomas Partey soon expected to be exiled. But not all is rosy. Poor Gabriel Jesus has got a knee injury, will miss the start of the season. But the notion of Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard in a midfield three, all of them just 24 years old, all of them capable of playing and rotating through different roles, is honestly, it's eye-watering. Much of this, though, it's going to be on Arteta, his beautiful mind, his mental strength, taking that cruelly perceived bottle job of a last campaign and turning it into a trauma out of which vital life truths were gleaned. And we all know in our own lives, the foundation of success is so often failure. And what I've loved about this off-season, my favourite part of it was Arteta himself admitting just how hard his summer's been, a time of real rumination. Judge yourself, he said. Ask yourself, are you still the right person to drive the club, the team forwards in the way that you want to? Do you have that energy, the belief that you want to do it? It took a big reflection, but the answer is yes. All on him now to show that he can resummon incandescent football. One quick note, when you think of Arsenal, Matt Turner, farewell. He had to move on from the club he supported as a kid, signing yesterday on a permanent deal with Nottingham Forest in search for Premier League minutes that he craves to maintain the US #1 spot ahead of the Copa America. And the irony is, as he moves to Forest, he might be on the field for Arsenal's first game of the season. But for their opponents, we wish Matt strength and love. If you listen to our last interview with him last season, we know just how much he ate not to get a Premier League minute last season. To magic ahead for that man. He is a soulful bloke. And remember, they'll never take this away from you. Relax, dog. It's a dog fight out there. Next up, Manchester United in a strange place of ambitious limbo. Firstly, staggering fact of the off-season when De Gea and defender Phil Jones left United this summer. United, for the first time, have 0 players left who played under the legendary manager Sir Alex Ferguson. 0 players who've won the title with the club. Grey Gardens, baby. Worry not, though, because you shall fear us by the shadow of the Carabao Cup that we were. Not exactly a catchy battle cry, but a team that with Eric Ten Hag screams return to greatness in brand, but that's only goalkeeper Andre Onana, raw young striker. Oh, he's a proper finisher. Rasmus Højlund and Chelsea's disgruntled one of their own, Mason Mount, arriving up north, electing to wear the heavyweight of the United legacy, just tinge number 7. Oh, fascinating to see. Ten Hag's not said much in the pre-season as that ongoing grinding self-destruction of a glacial club sale hangs over the present and the future. And we're used to managers at massive clubs really making themselves the face of that club. Ten Hag has kept his face down and his mouth shut as much as possible. A sign of either deep professionalism, deep Dutchness, or his own doubt at all that is to come. One of those three. A team I can't wait to watch on the day Kane looks to be possibly on his way to the Germans, although I think he's found out that the Germans just have a one-word phrase for one of our own and he doesn't like it. Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, I just said that. Are you ready for Ange Ball? New season, new bear man of a manager, Ange Postecoglou, gent who loves a rebuild. Really a fascinating Australian, emotionally intelligent, a true culture builder. A bloke who's walked the road less travelled from Australia to Greece, Yasu, back to Australia, Japan, Scotland, and now the Premier League. Doubted everywhere he goes. As you, if you're just hearing about him, are no doubt like, what the hell? How is this man a manager? His story is amazing. His track record is in large part magic. His process, get rid of the team star, struggle for the first month or so as his players adapt to the buccaneering football that he craves. But Gent is bold. He's like, buy into my vision or get rid of me. And Spurs, man, if this works, he will deliver the kind of football that Tottenham Hotspur have in their DNA. All out attacking, all out entertaining football. I spoke to him on Monday. I think we just released it on YouTube. Watch it. Watch him. He is beautiful. I love him. I've got to be candid. I love him. He likes his football simple. He says it connects kids to parents, lets them feel things. And the goal, it's just to score more goals than your opponent. I'm preventing myself from doing an Australian accent as I say that because you know that I can't. Also told me that he gets away without learning anyone's name on the squad, just calls everybody mate because he's Australian. But that Harry Kane soap opera dragging on and on. Oh, make a decision. Just kiss already, will you? Another transfer window, more Harry Kane edging. And I feel for Ange, not knowing whether he can feel one of our own. Smart signings, though. My God, the prospect of James Maddison thriving in an Ange setup is a big yes. But there's really an English media sense that because dude is Australian, in the same way as they think about American, really, in the same way as the Scottish media who thought Ange wasn't worthy of Celtic before he transformed them into just steely winners. There's that instability at the board level too. Joe Lewis indicted for US insider trading. Never good when that happens. But we got Jay-Z briefing the press that he's interested. Oh, the takeover. The break's over. But for reals, from North London to West Chelsea, Christian Pulisic finally freed from his sad purgatory of a Chelsea career. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he's joined him in Milan. So much deadwood, dealt by Todd Burley, dumped the heavily crocked N'Golo Kante. Draft bust, Kalidou Koulibaly, Edouard Mendy to the Saudi League. Crafty loophole, considering Saudi PIF investors are amongst the chief backers of the Clear Lake project in Chelsea. Dave gone, Mason Mount gone, Kovacic and Havertz out. Last three to teams who will be rivals. That'll be interesting. But so much of the veteran bloke banished. Young Callow potential has replaced it. And in walks Mauricio Pochettino, the manager of whom Spurs fans once sang, he's magic, you know, back in the Premier League for the first time since 2019 after that miserable PSG dalliance. It's going to be amazing watching the ultimate club culture, good vibes builder attempt to conjure that kind of positive, joyous, collective spirit on top of the wreckage of last year's wasted season. I've got to say, I believe he can do it. But it will need the Chelsea board to show they've learnt so many lessons from last season's chaos. Oh, Chelsea host Liverpool, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday. Sad that Christopher Nkunku has undergone surgery to his knee because that shiny new toy of an attacking wonder is going to be wonderful. He'll be out for up to 16 weeks, I believe, some below. But that Nicholas Jackson kid, though, 22-year-old Zambia, looks riveting. Can't wait to watch them against Liverpool, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday in the game of the opening weekend. Bring that on. And from the Blues to the Reds, Liverpool Football Club, few teams have had their plans blindsided by Saudi ambition more than Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp was certainly planning a careful midfield transition this summer, signing a pair of potential gems, Ginger World Cup winner Alexis McAllister and 22-year-old Hungarian captain Dominic Szoboszlai, only to have Jordan Henderson repress his once pathfinding LGBTQ plus advocacy and move to Saudi Arabia. 33-year-old taking a salary of a reported $900,000 a week. Too much to turn down for him. Fabinho followed him, as did Bobby Firmino. James Milner, Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain are also gone. But the joy of the early season for Liverpool fans, those attacking pieces, Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez and the Egyptian King, all fit, all ready to roar in a way they could only do staccato last campaign as they desire to charge back into that top four. And that top four battle is going to be some crush. Upwardly mobile, aspirational, uber passionate Newcastle will face a challenge of dual campaigns, the difficulty of Champions League football and the domestic front. They've got chaos theories. Alan St. Maximan shoved out to the Saudi League. Eddie Howe wants more talent that fits his profile. He wants controlled, young, intelligent, collective football. And I've got to say, they've invested in targeted quality, pacey, talented youth, like old friend Leicester scamperer Harvey Barnes, 20-year-old Southampton talent Tino Livramento, who just sounds Italian, and 23-year-old midfielder Sandro Tonali, who actually is gent arrived from Milan and has instantly won a place in Geordie hearts by trying to learn the dialect. Find the video of him saying, "Wait, hey man, I'm clamming for me bait," which is around St. James Park means, yes, of course I'm hungry. So much talent in that squad. I'll have to see if it's big enough, though, to maintain the challenge on two fronts. Centre-half, cover at left-back still needed. Aston Villa, they look like a team, a club, an operation that's one to watch. Unai Emery setting up his mini-empire after winning 15 of his 25 games last season, transforming a flailing campaign into one that brings a return to Europe in the Conference League. Emery brought in famed technical director Monchi, who is kind of like Spider in Game of Thrones, but he recruits with a vast network of scouts instead. And he did it at Sevilla, where he found the likes of Rakitic and Dani Alves. Big signing is Villarreal's giant ball-playing defender, Pau Torres, who could be the Mings replacement this team needs. Oh, it's going to be really magic. Same fears, a duel there, though. The added burden of European Thursday night football and a bit of a light set of options up front. Ollie Watkins has been there everything. Young record signing Moussa Diaby came in from Leverkusen for $66 million. He can be thrillingly direct, but his impact is going to have to be immediate. Two teams who are going to be fascinating to watch, Brighton and Brentford. Brighton in Europe. The Amex hosting European nights. Oh, they played such buccaneering football. They astonished last season. Both teams have managers who are coveted. You've got to kind of worry that either project could go belly up if their singularly brilliant leaders, Roberto De Zerbi or Thomas Frank, just decides to up and leave for bigger things. Both teams also marked by players lost. Brentford, two crucial pieces at either end of the field. David Raya, their gem of a goalkeeper, so key to their play from the very back with his feet and his brain, has gone to Arsenal. And the Uber direct Ivan Toney, their striker who loves a bit of betting on the horses, suspended until January for breaching FA rules. Seagulls winning. Midfield Alexis McAllister for Brighton. He's gone to Liverpool. And the club's buccaneering swagger. Will it go without him? I can't wait to watch how Pedro, the 21-year-old Brazilian, who is really thrilled at Watford. And there's a couple of veteran-free transfers to bed in there. James Milner and Mo Dahoud, who left Dortmund after 5 seasons and 2 trophies. Remains to be seen if Brighton will be able to fill Caicedo or just $100 million plus in bags of cash that they'll get from him in return into the bleak mid-table, which, let's be honest, is really the periphery of the relegation zone. Expect an incredible blending between the middling and the deeply challenged, as we saw last season. Fulham, can they battle a sophomore slump without struggling as Mitrovic clearly wants away? Our friend Tim Ream returning from that nasty arm injury. His sidekick, Anthony Robinson, signing a new 4-year contract to continue to tinkle the ivories, do his magic tricks, and execute all the nutmegs at Craven Cottage. Despite Saudi interest, manager Marco Silva persuaded to ignore their fleshy piles of cash. He will stay. Fascinating to see if Mitrovic does the same. Crystal Palace. What a challenging season could lie ahead. They're rolling the dice with Croydon, Yoda yet again. Roy Hodgson staying after that heroic end-of-season saviour cameo. At least he still has a job. He doesn't have Wilf Zaha, who is finally up and off. But Bournemouth, incredible storyline. Sacked Gary O'Neill, who saved them from relegation but was still relieved of his duties. Really a ruthlessly but fascinating move by American owner Bill Foley. It was so data-driven and really unemotional. Decided better to fire the manager now than in mid-season. In came expansive Spanish coach Adoni Iraola from Real Vallecano. O'Neill ran a low block. Iraola is all about Bielsa and flying around, high-pressing intensity. Expect a team that had the worst expected goals differential in the Premier League to be unrecognisable, either in a Brighton way or in an Everton way. Too early to tell. Brutal gauntlet of a start to the season for the Cherries. They face West Ham, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal in their first 4 home games. Liverpool, Brentford, Brighton and Man City in 4 of their first 5 on the road. But huge respect for Foley. Gent unafraid of a big decision and a massive transformation into the mid-table muck with teams like West Ham, Europa Conference League victors West Ham, caught between the old and the new. James Ward-Prowse in Oh, God, to try and fill that enormous Declan Rice-sized hole. Worse, they've signed Harry Maguire. David Moyes unsure whether to stay or go, reportedly at loggerheads with the team's new technical director, Moyes hinting it may be the latter. Wolves, with massive financial fair play challenges, lost their brain in the bottle manager, Julian Lopetegui, on Tuesday. Chaos with captain Ruben Neves and Raul Jimenez also gone. Recruitment really in the 99-cent bargain bins, not going to plan. Gary O'Neill, the gent who was fired by Bill Foley after saving Bournemouth, he stepped in 2 days before the start of the season. Let's just say, not the most strategic way to launch your campaign. Nottingham Forest, they'll seek a more stable season than that of the 31 new signing, self-inflicted shuffle of a manager, Steve Cooper, single-handed hero last season. Let's welcome quickly the three newly promoted teams. The newcomers, Luton Town, the most remarkable story, partly owned by their supporters' trust 5 years ago. The Hatters were preparing to embark on a season in League Two, the fourth tier, where Wrexham are now. And after winning the playoff, they became the first club to go from the top flight down to the fourth tier and back up. They are a meagerly resourced outfit still. Their stadium, you'll hear a lot about it in the early weeks of the season. The tight, archaic Kenilworth Road. It will be a delight for American fans to witness. None of the polish of the Premier League bling. You'll have seen it on social media. The tiny entrance to Oak Road stand, actually built into a row of old terraced houses with a walkway that leads away fans over residents' back gardens. This is proper old school piss and spilt ale and cigarette stains. And the stadium won't actually be ready for the first couple of weeks of the season as it goes undergoes, quote, extensive ground improvements. It's going to be one of the loveliest stories of the season, as is one of Luton's players, Pelly, Ruddock and Panzu, who will complete the odyssey from Conference to Premier League with the same club over the past 10 years. He said, "I feel like I've completed football." Godspeed to the Hatters. The other two teams, old friends, Sheffield United, who overcame massive financial challenges to grab the much-needed cash infusion lifeline of a return to the Premier League. Their goal from day one will be 17th place. Doesn't help that their effervescent heartbeat, Sander Berge, has just been ripped out as he decamped to Burnley, which, and you know me, I don't like to be hyperbolic. It's like Inter Miami losing Messi. Finally, yes, welcome back, Burnley. Now officially known as JJ Watt's Burnley. Trademark, not your grandfather's grim Brexit Burnley, because Vincent Kompany thrillingly remixed the club's DNA, turning them into a progressive, dynamic buccaneering swagger, which delivered 101 points in the Championship last season. Premier League, it's going to be much more of a pragmatic reality, one underlined by the bigger rival being $28 million goalkeeper James Trafford, snapped up from Manchester City, and he'll have an immediate reality check against City, against Pep, against the defending champions on opening day. That leaves one team. You'll notice I kept them till last. Lesser team, more a way to live life with cup perpetually half full. Everton, oh, we're Ashley Young's team now. The only player left in football who was born within a decade of Tim Ream. We've also lived through Danjuma's second coming. We begin the season with injuries to Shite McNeil, Neonto possibly coming, and I believe another Leeds teammate may be on the way too. But the possibility of financial fair play here in October, which could lead us to have a massive points deduction, is a shadow hanging over the start of this season. I was actually speaking to someone who's a massive Burnley fan, and I was like, well, you'll get 6 points off Everton. You'll have to find the other 34 somewhere else. But I don't want to be that negative. There is no point to be excited for the new season unless I can muster a flicker of hope. But then I realised the true joy of Everton, a team who've dodged a bullet twice in 2 seasons, and are highly unlikely to emerge from such a act of brinkmanship a third time. Look at it this way. We are all on a voyage of the doomed. We are all already dead. We are the living dead. We are the White Walkers. And when you have no hope, because that's already been taken away from you, you have no fear, because there's nothing you can do to us that we've not already done to ourselves. God, being an Everton fan, it's a very liberating way to live. To be honest, I spoke to Sean Dyche on Tuesday. I'd never chatted to him before. Was left with a real appreciation for his ability to inspire, to motivate, and ground it all in honesty and truth. He is not crapping himself. He is not making crap up either for our benefit. There is no self-deception here, no BS. He knows he's in for a grinding ground battle, that this is going to be brutal. No romance, no dreams, no toupees. This will be shin pads on at all times, lads. Tin helmets, bayonets. We're doing this. Will it work? I honestly don't know. Fool me once with your relegation dalliance, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I just don't know anymore. We have 38 games ahead of us. That means I have to watch 3,420 minutes of dire football. Like snow falling on snow, or dog turd falling on dog turd, and then we'll know the answer. One lovely, hilarious piece of news. Everton were drawn against League 2 duffers Doncaster in the Carabao Cup, and Eli Bretland tweeted, the 2 times Everton have played Doncaster in a cup competition in the past, the Toffees have gone on to win the league title. So you're telling me there's a chance. Bookmakers have Man City as prohibitive title favourites, 8-11. Arsenal 5-1. Liverpool 8-1. Then United, Chelsea, Newcastle in the annals of the table. Luton Town, Sheffield United favourites to go down. Wolves right behind them. Bournemouth, Forest, Everton, Burnley, Fulham. I want to close by raising my shot of Jägermeister, this bolt of human emotion in a shot glass, to you, to your fandom, to your team, to your favourite player, to the memories you'll make from this season, from the feelings of being alive that you will treasure, the connections, the friendships that you will share. May they all be positive and joyous and filled with empathy. And may Everton at least break 40 points. This is Rog saying big love, go easy on me, Fulham, and courage. Listen to the full version of this podcast and all our podcasts wherever you get your pods. But first, subscribe here for more Men in Blazers videos, and courage.